Hi everyone, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. This is your reading for the weekly daily. It's a pick a card reading that I do on Sundays for you guys. Tonight it's a little bit late because it's Easter, so I want to wish you guys a very happy Easter. On my Twitter, I tweeted two very interesting performances. One, the Andrea Bocelli concert in Italy, and the second, of course, the Mass performed by the Pope. So if you're interested, even if you're not religious, you can find that on my Twitter. A Daily Ish is going to be up on a regular basis now, so I'm excited to have that up. And for today, we're going to do our weekly daily messages. So hopefully these will get you some good messages for the upcoming week. I have my little aragonite. If you were on Instagram, you saw the image of it come through. Let's see if we have enough light for it to focus. Oh, I have autofocus off because it was being weird. Okay, so the way that you do this pick a card reading is you actually get a reading for every single day of the week, 1 through 7. And so what you do is you write down a list of how many what day of the week corresponds to which pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can write down a list of numbers from 1 to 7 on your phone or on a piece of paper. And next to each number, write down the day of the week that that number corresponds to, and then watch this video in that sequence or watch it from beginning to end, okay? So this can be Monday, number 2 can be Monday, number 4 can be Sunday, and so forth. So you get to choose what order. If you're still not clear about how this works, just ask in the comments. There's a lot of people who get it now, so they will be happy to explain it for you. And then also today we're going to do LENORMAND reading. The reason I have LENORMAND kind of separate and not onto every single one of the options is that LENORMAND only has about 40 cards. So with 7 choices, it's going to really impact that. Okay, so why don't we just get right into the reading, and we'll start with number 1 first. So you should have chosen a day of the week that this corresponds to. And let's just find out what this day of the week is. So choose a day of the week, Monday through Sunday, and here is your daily reading for that day. So your first message is, and don't worry about it being upside down. So we have a little bit of a delay with regard to something that's very destined. We have the Star, and then we have the 3 of Wands. All of the first cards are going to be reversed. So that was just something that came up with the shuffle. Something that's coming to you will be a little bit delayed, but I think that once you get it, you're going to be very happy about what you hear or about what you've been waiting for. On this day, the thing that you've been waiting for is at the front of your mind, and you are in some way really anticipating that thing coming in. Although you have to be patient, not everything can come about in the speed that you expect it to. Sometimes things take a little bit longer, and so this is calling on you to be patient. Then we have the 4 of Wands, foundation and achievements, something to do with the home and family. We have the 3rd eye chakra. So it's something that you've had a vision about in your life for a long time. It's something that you've envisioned for yourself. It's something that you've truly wanted. And I think that I sense this anticipation, I sense this eagerness that you're feeling, and so I have a feeling that it's going to be hard for you because you want things to happen so quickly, but they're happening a little bit slower than you had wanted them to. Discontent and boredom, the 4 of Cups, and so I have a feeling that there's a lot coming to you at this time, although at first you may not see it. You might get discouraged with waiting and start getting frustrated and kind of shrugging your shoulders at the situation, but it's all still coming in. So I have a feeling that on this day you're going to feel very excited and very nervous. Something's going to take longer than you anticipated, and then you're going to feel this kind of distraction of it not happening, but it is going to be happening. So behind the scenes, or maybe you're not seeing it right away, it is coming to you. It is happening for you now. Let's take a look at the Lenormand and see if they have some clarifier for us. So let's do 5 for each one. So we have the tree first. This definitely has to do with your home, your family, some kind of very long-term situation. So it hits really close to the heart. It's something that you really want. And then we have a letter. You want some kind of communication to come through, someone to say something. You've been waiting for someone to say something. And I have a feeling that you're going to get really resigned from this, waiting for this. You're going to feel like it's not happening, like it's not going to happen, but it is happening. So you almost give up on it, but then it's going to pull through. Then we have the sun, number 19. Okay, so a breakthrough moment, some kind of a wonderful breakthrough. It's not the sun, it's the tower. Sorry, I thought of tarot. It's been a minute since I've done Lenormand. And then you have 40, which is a special card for this deck, which is the mask. Again, you're definitely not seeing something here. Something much better is coming through than you anticipate. I have a feeling that you feel discouragement. Sorry about that. You feel discouragement, or you feel somewhat held back. You feel like something's not going to happen to your liking. Something's not going to happen at the speed or in the way that you had hoped. And then we have the friend. Okay, so a friend will come to bear good news, to give you encouragement, to help you wait through something out. It really feels like on this day you're going to go through a bunch of emotions. At first, you're going to be very excited about something, really hoping something will come through. There's going to be delays with that are going to make you feel discouraged, and then it feels like you're going to have some kind of communication with someone who is a friend, an ally, who's going to put into perspective for you. This definitely has something concerning your home, your business, or something that you put a lot of stake into. So it really hits close to home. Your feelings are here on the line. But remember, it's a delay. It doesn't mean it's not happening. It's just a delay to things the way that you'd like them to be done. Okay? So that's number 1. Hopefully that day is clarified for you. Now we're going to move on to pile number 2, which is our next day of the week. So choose a day of the week, Monday through Sunday, that you want this to correspond with, and this will be your message for that day. I'm going to clarify with Lenormand in just a second. Okay. Remember, reversals first. I guess we should just honor them because they came in that way. So the Eight of Swords in the reverse on this day, you know exactly which way you want to go in a situation. I think that you know exactly which way you want to go. You understand your circumstances. There's no lack of clarity in your situation. Then we have the Two of Cups. You want to let someone know how you feel about them in a positive way. You want to open up and share your feelings with someone else. You want to have that heart to heart. You really want to share and with an open heart commiserate with someone. You want to open yourself up to someone. And you're putting a lot of work towards that. So there's something or someone that you love a lot. It could be a situation, it could be a relationship. There's something that you feel a lot of emotional connection towards, and you're going to put a lot of effort in that direction. Let's see the next message. We have the Ace of Wands, passion ignited. So there's no lack of clarity on this day. You know exactly which way you want to go. You know what matters. You're willing to put the work in. And then we have the Eight of Swords again. This is the same card as this one. So trapped in fear. So maybe there's a legacy of a lack of knowing. Maybe there has been hesitation in the past. Maybe you had been shy to say how you feel. Maybe there's been something holding you back in this feeling. But I think that on this day, you feel exactly focused and full of attention of the direction that you want to go. And I think you're willing to put in that effort. You have Wisdom, which is the Hierophant, the card of Taurus. This is Sun and Virgo, so these are both earth signs. So I have a feeling that this is wisdom coming through, maturity. You're growing into something. You're willing to put things on the line. You're not so, how do you say, introspective or shy to share of what you truly want. Now you're really pushing forward with what you want. You're being much more commanding of your environment. This is what I want. I'm going to give it a shot. Even if it doesn't work out, I'm going to try it. Your heart's like, you're willing to put your heart on the line. You're the mature person, you know? And I think that you're remembering a lot of times when you were held back from doing things. I had this kind of recollection today. It was just in passing. And I was like, oh, wow, like, I remember all of these incidents that I had, all these adventures and all these things that I did in my life. And they're such memorable things in my life, like going on trips or trying something new. I've had a very unique life in the sense that I've really done some strange things that a lot of people don't do, kind of off the beaten path. And I was thinking about those things, and I thought about how they've actually made my life what it was. And so it's these experiences that you're reflecting upon on this day. It's like you put yourself on the line so that you can have an experience. You think about all the things that you see what matters, and that is putting things on the line or trying to go for something, trying to achieve something, even if it hurts a little bit or even if it's a little bit scary or intimidating. You see the other side of that is, you know, backing off and hiding and not confronting the world, and how much of a limited experience that produces. And you feel very, very much tied to, you know, wanting to push that boundary and really, you know, let someone know how you feel. A lot of us are having these feelings, you know, let someone know how we feel. Like we're being constantly reminded at this time that time is of the essence, and all of our lives are limited, and we're reminded of our mortality and our experiences and all this. So it's like you're feeling brave on that level. Let's take a look at the LENORMAND. We have the letter. There's going to be a lot of communication for you this week. A lot of emails, a lot of communicating, letting people know how you feel. A change in direction. It really feels like you want to solicit a change in direction with someone. Share with someone some feelings, you know, just put things on the line. Like whether it works out or not, you're really trying to make something work. You're trying to say something, like you feel something about a situation or about a person and you want to say it. Whereas maybe in a different time, you wouldn't have said it before, but now you feel like it matters. Now you feel like the time is right. And then you have the ship. Travel, although of course hopefully most of us are distancing, we're not traveling, but this can also mean that this is someone who's further away from you, someone that you're going to have to reach over the internet or over the telephone or something else like that. Like you're really going to have to reach out and connect with this person. Then we have the spyglass. Maybe this is someone who you have to dig out from your past. Maybe you have to find where they are. Maybe you've lost touch with them. But I think that within all this, you also find your own maturity and your willingness to kind of stick through a problem and not back down. The tenacity of your effort, the willingness to keep looking for things, trying to source things out, trying to make things happen, and then you're going to have some good luck, which is the clover. So it really looks like you're broadening horizons, you're reaching out to this person or situation that you really love, something that may have been intimidating, but now you feel like you have more energy to face it, you have more energy, more what's the word? Bravery to face it. You're more brave to face it. You're more willing to face it. And I think you're going in that direction now. So you're going to put something on the line. I'm not sure if you're going to say it, but it's going to be at the forefront of your mind. If you guys want, we can do a little pick a card at the end with the cards that are left over. And then I'll do like 3 piles for those of you who are watching live. We like to do that sometimes. So number 3, high number 3. If you guys want to choose a day of the week for number 3, Monday through Sunday, right? And Monday through Sunday, let's find out a day of the week. You should have chosen that, and I'll tell you what that day will be like now. So your first message is the 5 of Swords. So your efforts are not going to be futile on this day. Whatever you have felt that was falling through It is going to work out. Things are going to be okay. And then we have the Magician. And so, okay, so I have a feeling that, again, it feels like a very powerful week. It feels like you're very much pushing towards a certain outcome, something that you really want to happen. You're really kind of grabbing the bull by the horns and trying to push forward towards something, even if it's going to be a lot of work on this day. So there's something, you haven't failed at something, you have succeeded, and now you gather all your winnings, you know, that's the 10 of rods. Everything you've won now, you sort of have, or need to pick up and gather and then go wherever you're going with it, because it's going to be so successful. So you may have felt as though something wasn't working out. You may have felt as though, you know, you were missing out, or you thought you were running the risk of missing out. But I think you'll find out on this day that no, you haven't actually been missing out on anything. We have the Sagittarian card, Patience. So some things take a while for you to find out about. There's some things that are behind the scenes that you don't know about, but now you're seeing the full architecture of the situations you've been involved in. And then we have the Triumph. This is the Cancerian Chariot card, overcoming things. I think that you have a lot of positive energy with you now. I think you've chosen select circumstances and people to be with at this time, and it's feeding good energy, and you're growing and you're progressing. You're really seeing what matters, and you're seeing which direction is most important for you. And then we have the Six of Swords, moving on. So you win in a situation, and then you move forward towards the next stage, or whatever you have won, you're taking it with you to wherever you are going. It's very much a successful day on this day. And you have 3 trumps out of 6 cards. That's pretty significant. Let's pick some Lenormands to find out a little bit more. So we have the stars. The stars in the Lenormand are maybe even more better than in the tarot. It represents it's a day of destiny. I have a feeling that things are getting flushed out for you, important things that you need to know that you may have not known before. Then we have the Labyrinth. So you've been mulling over in your head. You have thought that a situation that you were involved with had failed you, or have somehow you lost at. I really want to keep this in the reverse. And what this means is that you haven't lost. Maybe you have thought you had lost or had missed out on something, but you were successful all along. And I think that that success is going to ferment for you or crystallize for you on this day. Here's the Sun here on this day. This is the center of the Lenormand reading. So we have the Magician, the Triumph card, and the Sun. Triumph being the Chariot. So something very powerful is happening for you on this day, in which you're really letting go of, I don't know, you're just overcoming big things in your life. You're overcoming and ascending to a high level. You're kind of master of your domain in something. Something is very much on point for you on this day. And then we have the polar bear, or we have the bear, polar bear, moving on. Wisdom tells you to move on. So you have succeeded in something, but you don't want to stay there too long, because, you know, like you don't want to overstay your welcome. You don't want to overstay your success either. So you want to kind of giddy up and get out of there before, you know, whatever it is has another chance to create conflict, maybe. You know, like get out while you're up, poker terms, you know. So you've succeeded in something, and you want to get out of the situation before there's another chance at misstep, or adjust the situation to remove the vulnerabilities that you were experiencing early on that had you caught up in these feelings of failure. Here is the next message. We have the 24, the heart. So you're moving towards love, and you're moving towards commitment. So this is saying don't be shy on this day to make the decisions that you need to make to move forward in a direction that you know is right for you. Don't hold back on that. There's love for you at the end of this day, at the end of the decisions you're making on this day. And don't be shy. Don't be low energy, or don't be low self-esteem about the circumstances. Don't let it get in your head. Don't be too humble in this situation. Be a little confident and know that you're making the right decision. So this is especially people, a lot of people who watch my videos are very humble. I find you guys very humble, and that's because I talk about humility a lot, so it probably resonates with people a lot who are humble, and they kind of connect with that energy. So I know a lot of people who, watch these videos, get readings and so forth, who have extremely high qualifications or education or some other attribute about who they are is very impressive, and yet they're just simple, very humble people. And so sometimes humble people, just like philosophers, it makes me think of philosophy, because philosophers kind of become difficult in certain types of environments because they don't have all the answers, right? Environments like this where someone wants a direct answer, philosophers expect more questions instead of answers. So humble people in this situation, I don't know if this is too much of a tangent, but humble people have a difficult time sometimes kind of seizing victory because they see everyone around them also successful and also succeeding. But in this day, it's a day to be a little cocky. It's a day to be a little bit upfront with your feelings, a little bit more intense, and a little bit more kind of proud, and pride is sometimes good, in moderation. Seize the day, carpe diem. Take the bull by the horns, go after what you want, and maybe pull back from being so kind of like a doormat for the circumstances that you had spent so much energy trying to navigate or trying to work through. Sometimes it's good just to raise your chin up high and pull back. Sorry, there was a little fluff there. It was driving me crazy. My Virgo brain was just going off the chart. Number 4, okay. So number 4, you should have a day of the week for this number. I'm going to do a reading at the end for a summary for everything. 1, 2, 3, pick a card. So you want to stick around to the end for that. So this should be a day of the week, Monday through Sunday. And I will tell you what that day is like now, okay? So on this day we have the moon. I'm liking these reversals so far. So we have the moon in reverse means that there's a lot of clarity. That's a big theme for this week. There's a lot of clarity. There's not a lot of beating around the bush. Things that were hidden are becoming visible on this week, and specifically on this day. We have the 8 of Rods. I feel like people are telling each other how they feel about each other. I feel like barriers between people are being torn down, and there's like a more direct connection between people, or more willingness to share. It's like, what would you say if you knew it was the last 5 minutes of your life? Like, who would you talk to and what would you say? I think many of us are faced with these kinds of questions and conundrums, right? Who would you talk to? What would you do if it was your last moment on earth? And it's a very kind of scary thought, but I think many people are in some ways, maybe not so extreme like that, but many of us through this situation that's going on in the world right now, we're being confronted with, like, who do we want to be? Who do we actually want to be like? And people's true nature is also showing for the bad, but also for the good, Who do we're all called upon. Our hearts are just reaching out to each other, and I think that that's something to focus on. Maybe there's a lot of negative things to see out there, but I think it's also very important to recognize where our hearts are reaching out to each other. And then we have the Death card, which is Scorpio, and a change. So a fundamental change happens through loving communication. So I think that, like, good messages are coming in, a change for the better. Something that was stagnant is going to start moving on this day. Let's clarify a bit. We have the obstacles and challenges. So there were physical changes or obstacles between you and someone else. Financial changes, physical limitations, all that sort of stuff. And that's sort of breaking down now. And then we have the base chakra. So I know this isn't a time for moving, so I'm not advocating moving or changing your residence or anything like that at all. However, I do feel like there's a concrete fundamental change to where you live and what you do because of some profound communication and clarity that's coming to you on this day. This might happen after the quarantines end, after the isolation ends, or maybe this will be the first step in that direction. Remember, this is a daily reading, but yeah, just a fundamental change in the direction you're going, and this is Jupiter destiny. So definitely going towards some kind of a good outcome, a change for the better. Something that was stagnant and slow is becoming fast and healthy and growing. Let's take a look at LENORMAND before I forget. Okay, so this is going to be a longer one, I think. It's the LENORMAND readings because it's a full LENORMAND reading in every one. So we have the garden first. A lot of different options. I think that, you know, sometimes when you have like too many options or whatnot, then you sort of become less focused on the one good thing. And sometimes when you have one or two things to focus on, that truth becomes very clear. So I feel like maybe you've been distracted by a lot of options. You've been distracted by a lot of things happening around you, or there's just been things around that have possibly distracted you or distracted the people or the situation or the person you're interacting with. So there's been too many things going on, and that's really slowed things down. And then we have commitment. We have the ring, number 25. There's been a lot of barriers to a commitment or a relationship. There's been a lot of things holding back, distractions, some immaturity. Somebody could have been dating a lot and, you know, thinking of the Baskin Robbins of dating, like so many different options, so many people to choose from, and they're missing out on the people that count. And so there's been a lot of barriers to a commitment, but there is this desire for a commitment. There is this desire for a connection here. And then we have the birds and gossip. I hate gossip in relationships. Gossip in relationships ruin the relationship, right? But I think that maybe you're hearing some positive gossip here, some information you hear from far away that can mean literally far away or figuratively far away. Like, it may not be necessarily like, you know, someone on a different continent, but it could be someone who's displaced from you in some capacity. You hear rumors that something's changing from friends or maybe from other people. Let's see the next message. We have the key, which is number 33. There's a wonderful breakthrough or awareness. You make a positive change for a new direction, and that's going to open up new doors and opportunities for you on this day. That's a big one. And then we have the ship. Again, no traveling, you guys. It's not safe right now to travel, but far shores are calling your name. And I think many of us are feeling this kind of antsy feeling like, okay, I want to go already, but of course we can't. But there is this feeling of like wanting to like reach out and to go forward, go further on this day. I think something is opening up for you. A relationship with someone is opening up, and now you're in some way ready to set sail in that direction. Sorry for the funny pun. Maybe somebody has in some way work through their issues of being distracted with regard to relationships. So many different options. That's what I'm getting. Someone has so many different options and now they've settled on one. But I think that this is another way. Maybe somebody who had in the past an F-boy, a screw boy, right? Somebody who was just messing around, had your heart really wrapped, and you were really into someone. But maybe you find out that they've settled down, or maybe that you find out that in some way maybe that's a commitment to you for some of you, but for many of you there's a reality that hits you about somebody's nature. Maybe you realize that they were a screwboy, they were not ever committed truly to anyone, and maybe you hear some good news that lightens your circumstances at this time, and you sort of move forward in a new direction. You make a change finally from something really stagnant. I feel like there's transition here, which is really great. So no more stagnancy in your life. You're moving forward, whether it's with someone or on your own. on this day, a very lucky day. Wherever you're going, it's going to be lucky on this day. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to do number 5. So you should have a day of the week planned for this, Monday through Sunday. So let's see your messages. We have, remember, reversals. These reversals are really working out. So 5 of Wands. You're not getting any conflicts. You're not letting any conflicts bring you down. Then we have the 10 of Swords. Enough is enough. Pretty much. That's all I want to say. Draw the line in the sand. You're not having it. It's not even bothering you if somebody tries to come at you with some kind of hook. I call them like little hooks. It's like, don't put your hooks in me. You know, when they bait you for something or they bait some kind of conflict, you're not having it at all. And then you have the 6 of Pentacles, which is Moon in Taurus. You rise above a situation. You give fairly to where it's due, but no more. And then you also expect reciprocity. So it's like, give the respect that you want to receive. I think you step into a situation or a circumstance on this day in which your response really makes it a healthy one. So it's like the way that you speak to this person, the way that you commiserate with this person leads a good direction. You show good initiative. There's a lot of maturity in your reading this week. A lot of maturity, a lot of like, you know, I always have this, like, I know how to react, but then when I react, it's like, Varush, why did you react that way? You know, it's like kind of silly. And there's many times in which I'm not reacting the way that I know I should react. And I have a feeling that and sometimes it has to do with timing, sometimes it has to do with my mood, whatever. But on this day, you're very much on point. Your like reactions are like you're happy with yourself. You're like, oh, I didn't screw this up. Good. And that's solar plexus energy, Mars and the Sun right over your diaphragm. So speaking, you know, not backing off, not being too shy, not being overly assertive, not being like too aggressive in a situation, drawing fair decisions in whoever you're dealing with, like, and you're not being emotionally manipulated or impacted, like overwhelmed. 7 of Swords. You know exactly what you're dealing with and you're not being foolish. So it's like, you know, today an eagle, I was at the ocean, and the eagle was sitting on a pole, and these 2 seagulls, they kept diving in on it. And if you know seagulls, if you're from a place in the world that has seagulls or birds like from the ocean, they can be very aggressive even with an eagle. But the eagle was just sitting there and like chilling. It was just like not moving. And the seagulls, like gangsters, were like coming at him one and the other and just diving in with like very aggressive swings. And then they flew away, and as I was walking past, what I saw was the eagle flew directly to where the seagulls were after like this 10 minutes of harassment. And he swooped down and grabbed their fish and like flew away with it to a pole, minding his business. So it's like the eagle had his, you know, role in mind. The eagle had his trajectory in mind, and he just went for it. And he wasn't bothered by silly seagulls. And the idea was like seagulls are slow and fat, you know, but the eagle is muscular and super intense. So it's like you're like the eagle, like eagle eye, like not gonna bother with some seagulls no matter how much noise they're trying to make. You know exactly, there's no BS, there's no hooks, you know, that you're sort of making yourself vulnerable to, and you're going after the fish. You know, it's fair game. So go after your fish. Here is the next message. We have the 9 of material harvest. Speaking of fish, so you're going to get yours in a big way on this day. What a neat story, and how it coincides with these cards. So it's a payout on this day. Let's see the next message. So we have the woman. A woman waiting, a woman bored, a woman whose mind is running, a woman who's thinking 1,000 things at a time, building molehills into mountains, maybe. There's just, you know what it is. It's someone who's kind of sitting on their thumbs, you know, and has too much time on their hands, and you're just not there for it at all. And then you have the man. So it's, you sort of look at things, how do you say, you're not bothered. You're definitely not bothered. This can also signalize that there's a man really missing a woman. Really missing a woman. And maybe that she's not bothered by it. Maybe she knows he's missing her. Maybe he was a jerk and, you know, he's like learning his lesson for his jerkdom. Let's see the next message. We have the number 38, Bridges. He's thinking of how to get closer to her. This kind of turned for a different story, but he's trying to build some bridges to her to get closer to her in some way. Maybe he had screwed up in some way, and now he's trying to figure out how to get closer to her. Let's see the next message. We have the clock and time. I think in time everything's going to work out. He's trying to find different avenues to access her, but she's sort of looking in a different direction. I have a feeling that in time he's going to figure it out. He's going to figure out the solution. And if you're a woman and this could be also you as well, trying to figure out a solution towards some kind of outcome, not necessarily a woman. An outcome in which there's been a lot of struggle, an outcome in which there's been a lot of hard times to make it happen. And I have a feeling that you will ultimately figure out the solution, and in some time. There's a lot of success that comes from whatever you're thinking about on this day. Okay, lots of waiting, which is normal given the current situation. Just stick around for the end again, because then I'll do pick a card using the cards that are left over. Okay, select cards, not all of them. So number 6, figure out what day of the week this is. And when you're ready, press play. So, okay, so we have the Emperor in reverse. This is the first reversal that I'm not too stoked about. So wasting time, not feeling as confident as you should about your position and your status. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. Like a floppy fish, not too confident. And then we have the 10 of Cups. You're going to receive some encouragement from people around you, but I think that here we're feeling a little bit down in the dumps, not as confident about the situation that you are in, to which it should merit that. There's just not enough like confidence, and the people around you are bringing things in. People around you are bringing in positive energy and encouragement and love, get you motivated. It's the external force that sort of encourages you. It's the external people in your life that encourage you, that get you going, that are trying to send you positive messages. We have the Hope card. This is the Star, the card of Aquarius and soulmates. Maybe your husband is lagging, or a father figure, a father. There's someone's having a bad day. I don't think it's as bad as, you know, something bad or ominous is coming. I think somebody's having an off day, and it could be you. But there is definitely a lot of positivity around them to rise them up. And then we have the 7 of Wands, stand your ground. So it's like you've put a lot of positive energy into your environment, so your environment is in some way lifting you up now. So you had, you know, put in all this positivity in the past, and on an off day or when something's not working, it's the environment that's going to be feeding you a lot of positivity for all the effort that you've put in, intuition. And I think that you're going to start seeing like a level up again. You're going to start seeing the promise of where you're going, because of the encouragement of the people that you have around you. You're going to see your way through a problem. You're going to see, the solution to a problem, your way through a problem. Let's see the next message. We have the Stork. Okay, there was a change that discouraged the Emperor. There was a change in direction of something, and it discouraged him, and now he fell back, or he pulled back in some way. Then we have the Tree. So he wanted something to be a certain way, it didn't work out, and it foiled his master plan. It might be you, or it might be someone around him. They had a very specific vision, and now that they know that some of that vision can't happen or won't happen, he's become a floppy fish. He's become very passive or discouraged. You know, it's like you're buying a car, and you have in your mind that you need a red car. You really need a red card. It's definitely the only card that you want. It has to be red. But what if you get the exact same model, the exact same brand, etc., the same year of a card that's blue? It's like he's sort of dissatisfied with the fact that some aspect of what he's getting is not exactly what he wanted, but it's still what he wanted. It's just somewhat different than the way it was, the way that it was originally going to be, or the way that he had thought of it. So in other words, he's being too specific and stubborn in what he wants. Maybe that's you, or maybe someone around you. But it's still like working on the destiny or what's supposed to come out of this. We have the mask. There's more to this story than what we know now. There's going to be more to it than meets the eye. There's more below the surface. You know when they say scratch the surface? This situation, scratch the surface on this one. And then we have Lily. So this situation, there's going to be maturity gained. If you're dealing with a man in a relationship and they're being kind of wishy-washy, they're going to gain maturity, they're going to mature and grow and learn, and so will you. So this is an evolution or a growth. And then we have the stars, towards something good. For those of you who are in a relationship or who are considering a relationship with someone, if that relationship on this day is feeling very unstable or kind of not here, not there, not anywhere, this is saying that it's going to get better. I think, and if you're single, then I have a feeling that maybe something to do with the way that you've organized your life is not exactly the way that you had hoped. But there's more to it in that. There's more to it in that, and you will get more out of it there. And again, there's success with whatever is coming up for you on this day. There's going to be a successful outcome to whatever issues or circumstances you're dealing with on this day. Pretty good message. So I'm going to do more at the end of the video. I'll pick a card for everybody watching. I like to do those just to summarize everything, but also for the people who watch me live, hi live watchers. Okay, so now we're going to do number 7, pick a day of the week for this final reading, Monday through Sunday. Sometimes you can pick 2 a day. If you feel like it, you can double up on one. I don't know. You can make your own rules. That's cool. Okay, so let's see what happens on this day. Press play when you're ready. Okay, so we have the Cavalier de Bastoni. This is the Knight of Wands. So he's the Great Dipper. And in the reverse, it's like, it really feels like maybe somebody isn't as to their word as what you'd like them to be, and you're sort of walking away from that situation. So there is this throughout all the entire week. Not everybody's going to be on the same page as you, and some people are going to play games. Some people are going to be just what people do, wasting time, you know, saying they want something and then not putting in the work. There's all sorts of things that are going to be, not a ton of things. I think it's just one person who's in some way, like just showing up in your reading as just not being as good as you. And then you're going to move towards something better, which is the Lovers. So forego a relationship that is failing for you, or maybe it's kind of the sunset of that relationship, and you go through towards something that is dependable, that is accountable, something that you feel already bonded with. Like, it's like, turn to your family, turn to your loved one, turn to the things that you know are true, you know, and let go of the things that are wasting your time. That's what the message for today is. And then you have Truth, which is Pluto. Boom. Make a big decision about someone who's just not adding up. They're just not giving enough in a situation, and you probably will say that to them on this day. Throat chakra. And then we have the Prosperity Begins. You might be choosing, some of you might be choosing between a couple different love interests, in which case one is completely failing out and one is the one you decide you're meant to be with. It's a big decision day on this day, and I think you're going to let someone go, whether it's romantic or platonic. but were you with them, or did you have them in your life anyway? Somebody was just not as dependable. Somebody was not as there as they should have been. Okay, more clarifiers. Let's see. So we have the stork. Okay, so we have this change of path and direction. Or if you're single and you're not dealing with a person, you let go of a less stable path for a much more stable, strong, persistent one that's going to yield for you good outcomes. So you make a good decision on this day, away from something that's feeble and not dependable. And then you have a child. So yeah, definitely let something go towards a more concrete outcome. Embrace the future, start a new beginning, change your path, go a different direction, move forward. Again, don't go out of the house unless you have to, that kind of thing. But overall, like the horizon, you don't have to leave your house to open the horizon in a new direction. Make that plan of what's going to happen, you know, a month from now, a year from now, whenever. And then we have the garden. There's this new path has for you so many opportunities. It's almost funny. It's strange that it's not even a question of being with this other situation anymore. The new path is so dependable. And then you have good luck there as well. It's such a no-brainer on this one. Just go wherever you're going on this day. Wherever life leads you, that's the direction you need to go. Very, very successful day. Okay, so that's the 7 days for this week. We're going to have a lot more this week. Last week, my internet, I didn't get my internet until Friday or Thursday. So my internet got messed up, and I was without internet for like 10 days. Sorry, it was out of my control. Or I had very limited internet that was not very good. So now I'm back on decent internet. I made it happen with my magical wands. I'm just kidding. Okay, so now we're going to do a little pick a card to summarize your week. So pick 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to just lay cards down. These ones seem to, they don't shuffle well because they're 2 different sizes. That's okay. I'm going to pick 3 cards for every single option. We can do this one again, and then that one again. I'm not trying to pick between the, there we go. We'll just do like that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then I'll give you a little summary message for your week. And I hope you guys have a good week. I want to wish you guys a happy Easter again. Let's see your first message. Number 1, ready? Let's take a look at your cards. So we have the 6 of Swords, moving on. And then we have the Truth, a big decision. And then 6 of Pentacles. You're going to make a decision to move towards things that are going to reciprocate and give back to you. So the energy that you put out, situations that are going to give back or return the things that you deserve. It's like, I'm not going to be in situations anymore that are not reciprocal. Or I'm going to move towards something that's going to be financially successful. Number 1. Number 2, let's take a look at your summary. So we have the 2 of Cups. Ooh, there we go. The Magician, that's not bad. And then we have the, oh, number 2 just scored big. The Material Harvest, 9 of Pentacles. So through love with someone else, you are going to get set on a path this week that is going to yield for you a lot of financial success and blessings. So your relationship with someone is going to ignite a path for you that's going to guarantee a lot of success, okay? And then finally, last but not least, who's in with number 3 with me? I always pick 3. Let's see, we have the Ace of Pentacles, prosperity begins. Okay, here we go. The Star, hope, oh, destined path. And the 5 of Wands, thank goodness I didn't reverse it. So it's like a very clear-cut way on the direction, or I made it upright again. On this week, you're definitely taking a definite path in some direction, and any opposition you've had in this direction is going to be cleared, or you just mow through it. There's just nothing holding you back. You feel like it's your destined path. Something is going to be added to the mix that is going to make you stronger. Thanks so much for waiting for this reading, you guys. More readings out this week. I love you very much. I wish you all the best. And happy Easter, you guys. Chin up, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye.